Now, let's look at excretion. What is excretion? Excretion is simply the removal of waste, any product that is sensed as waste in a living system. All right. And what are the types of excretion? We have different types of excretion structures. Okay. The structures that enable organisms, living organisms, to excrete. All right. To remove waste. All right. A waste in organism A might not be a waste in living organism B. There are living organisms that their waste are water. But in another living organism, water might not be a waste. Or it all depends on the time. Water can be a waste. If it's too high in the system, it becomes a waste. It becomes a threat to the system and there is a need to excrete it. All right. So the structures of excretion include contractile vacuoles in protozoa, for example, which removes water. Okay. Contractile vacuoles removes water. All right. It contracts and it pushes all the water it has collected out of the cell. You have flame cell in flatworms such as planaria, which enables filtration. Okay. Filtration of fluid and the excretion of fluid, okay, through the flame cell. You have nephridium in annelids, okay, such as earthworm, all right, which what is a waste tube that what helps secrete waste from the system, all right. You have Mappifian tube in insects too, which helps excrete uric acid, all right. You have kidney, the invertebrates, which help what in the formation of urine, excreting nitrogenous waste from the body, away from the body, all right. You have stoma or stomata / lenticel implants, which help in gaseous exchange, help in the excretion of gases such as carbon dioxide or oxygen, depending on the time or depending on the activity of the plant, and also water loss through transpiration. So get familiar with all these excretory structures because Jamb love repeating questions from down. Now let's look at excretory mechanisms, all right. For the kidney filters blood via the glomerulus, reabsorption of water / nutrients in the tubule, and produces urine, which is the urine is rich in urea and water. The kidney also does what? It regulates osmolarity, and the kidney does what? It also produces what? Hormones. That's the function of the kidney. Okay, all these are the function of kidney. So let me quickly walk you through how the kidney filters the blood and remove waste. The kidneys filters the blood through 3 mechanisms. So the first is what? Glomerulus filtrate or ultrafiltration. The second is what? Selective reabsorption. The third is what? Tubular secretion. You can call it selective secretion or tubular secretion. So let's look at the first, which is glomerulus filtration or ultrafiltration, occurs in the glomerulus of the kidney. It occurs in the glomerulus of the kidney, and blood from the renal artery enters into the Mappifian layer of the kidney via the glomerulus. All right. The Broman capsule houses the glomerulus, and the glomerulus is a intertwined vein, okay, or constricted vein network of capillaries. Let's call it capillaries, where filtration occurs. So as soon as blood enters the glomerulus, bigger molecule, the glomerulus has this semi-permeable membrane, which allows certain substance to pass and certain substance stays. Okay, some substance pass into the tube, the renal tube, and some other substance stays. All right. So when blood enters the glomerulus, larger molecules are filtered out of the glomerulus. Larger molecules such as protein, okay, is filtered off by the glomerulus, okay, because protein is not a waste. The body conserves this protein because the protein is to be used by the body. All right. The moment the glomerulus is not able to filter those large molecules such as protein, just know that the kidney has started failing. There's a problem. So the person continues to excrete protein. Such problem or such health condition is known as glomerulonephritis. All right. After that, that's what occurs in ultrafiltration. All right. Just filtering of the blood, taking out big molecule such as protein. All right, or amino acid. All right. So during this ultrafiltration, what does the glomerulus filter? I said large molecules such as the protein molecules and the blood too. The blood molecules. That's why blood doesn't flow with it. Only the fluid. Okay, fluid flows. So the resultant fluid flows into the renal tubule, and as soon as that fluid enters the renal tubule, then we enter the second stage of how the kidney filters urine, or how urine is made, how urine is formed, which is the selective reabsorption. All right. So water is reabsorbed in the loop of the Henry, or the Henry loop. That's where water is reabsorbed. Okay. So other solutes are reabsorbed from the fluid that is in the renal tubule. Solutes such as calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. They are reabsorbed into the system, into the circulatory system, back into the circulatory system. All right. They are reabsorbed, they are removed because the body needs those electrolytes. All right. So that fluid, the resultant fluid travels, passes the loop of the Henry and to the distal convoluted tubule. So at the distal convoluted tubule, that's where the tubular secretion occurs. Okay, peritubular secretion. Those other small molecules that are beneficial to the body, that are not waste, is further what? Secreted from the tubule, the renal tubule, into the peritubular vascular network, into the peritubular what? Veins. Okay, that is secreting it back into the blood because the body needs it, because you know that the distal convoluted tubule is semi-permeable. So it's secreted into the blood. All right, it's secreted into the blood, and urine is completely formed. Now the urine is completely formed. What you have now is urea, salt, and water. And some other small waste. All right, that's what makes up urine. So it's collected by the collective ducts. Okay, it's collected in the what? Collecting ducts, and it's transported via the pelvis into the ureter, down to the bladder, where it's excreted through the urethra. This is how the kidney makes urine. All right. So I hope you jotted down while I was explaining, because Jamb loves repeating questions from this, how the kidney makes urine. All right. Now let's look at the excretory mechanism of the lungs. Okay. The lungs take in oxygen and excrete carbon dioxide as waste, byproduct, and also water vapor. Okay, like I said before, the lung is not just only a respiratory organ, it's also an excretory organ. The skin also helps us excrete through sweating. Okay, helps us excrete water. It removes water for us, and also mineral salts, also urea. That's why your sweat is always smelly, because of this urea. Urea is a very poisonous waste in humans. Okay, in mammals, urea is very poisonous. Okay, and it smells really bad. Another name for urea is carbamide. So let me now ask you, which organ makes this urea? Because the kidney only excretes the urea. There is an organ that converts, substances into this waste, okay, less harmful waste. Because the substances found in the body system is more harmful than this urea. But an organ converts those substances, which are highly toxic, into a less toxic waste, such as urea. The organ responsible for that conversion is your liver. It is your liver that converts all nitrogenous waste into urea. Excretory products of plants include carbon 4 oxide, oxygen, tannins, resins, gum, mucilage, alkaloid. For example, alkaloid include caffeine. All these are what the excretory products in plants. Get used to this. Jamb always repeats questions from here. All right. So economic uses of this, this excretory product of plants. Okay, it is beneficial to the economy. It's useful to us. All right. Tannins is used in leather. Okay, it's used in the manufacture of leather. Resins is used in varnish, to make all those varnishing cream. All right. So that's that for that. Welcome to today's lecture, Jamb UTME Candidates 2026. We are looking at the support and the movement in both plants and animal. What supports movements? What supports them, and what enables them to move in both plants and animals. The first we are looking at here is movement. What is movement? Movement is this transitioning from one point to another. You change position from one point to another is called movement. Locomotion is the movement from one spot to another. So in locomotion, there is the movement of the entire organism. Okay, but in movement, it might be, I might be here, I'm sitting here. Okay, I move my hand. That's movement. Okay, this is movement. But for me to locomote, I have to leave this particular spot to another spot. The whole organism, the whole body must move. That's locomotion. All right. So, for example, plant moves when they grow and spread their branches. They move when they move towards light, towards sun. They move, but plants don't locomote. They don't leave that spot. Now, where plants they grow. Now there they die. Everything they happen for that place. Wait for swam or wait for germinate. That's that for that. Now, let's look at movements in plants. The types of movements in plants. First of all, we have the tropic movement. Okay, this tropic movement is the growth. Okay, exhibited by plants when they grow. The kind of movement they exhibit when they grow. Okay, when plant grows towards stimuli. Okay, it is called tropic. That's tropic movement. When plant grows towards stimuli. All right, and the stimuli can either be photo, which is from light. Okay, phototropism. Plant grows towards light. Okay, then geotropism. Plant grows towards gravity. All right, or away from gravity. All right, hydrotropism. Plant roots grows towards water. Okay, when water no too dey the environment, the plant roots try to maneuver, grows longer to look for the next water body. That's what hydrotropism. Hydro stands for water. Tropism, movement of plant towards stimuli. All right, let's look at the next types of movements here in organisms. Okay, especially in unicellular organism or even some multicellular organism. We have the tactic movements. All right, we have the tactic movement. It's the movement of organism towards a stimuli. This one is not for plants now. Now let's look at the tactic movement in plant. It is the movement of organism. It might not be only plants. Okay, there are some other animals that also exhibit this movement. Okay, especially unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. All right, some multicellular organisms too. For example, Chlamydomonas, amoeba, multicellular organisms like Hydra, and so on and so forth. All right, so it's the movement of an organism towards stimuli. And what is the stimuli? So the stimuli is usually chemicals. For example, chemicals. Roots of plants move towards chemicals, such as in a soil area where you have much nutrients like mineral salt, potassium, nitrogen, and all. They move towards it. They sense it that we have more there. Let's go and get more. So that movement is stasis. Okay, is stasis. Is tactile, moving towards stimuli. Moving towards stimuli. Okay. So for example, chemotaxis, I gave you example roots. Okay, moving towards the roots, moving towards the area or the soil area where you have more concentration of solutes or salts. Okay. So, for example, amoeba moves away from chemicals. For example, chemicals like, salt. When you put amoeba in a salt solution, it withdraws from that salt solution. That's a tactic movement. Okay, it withdraws from that salt solution. Okay, staying away from the salt solution. All right. The next we have here is the non-directional movement. Okay, these two movements are directional. All right, tropic is directional because there is a reference point. All right, there is a reference point. All right. The tactic or the taxis is also a directional movement because there is a reference point. There is a movement towards something. It's a movement towards a stimuli. Okay. This one is going towards the chemical or is going away from the chemical. It's directional. Okay. This one is going towards light or away from gravity or towards water. All right. So that's it. Now, the nastic movement is the only non-directional movement. It means that there is no direction. There is no reference point. All right. For example, it is usually a response, okay? It's a response. It is not a movement towards a stimuli. It's actually a response from a stimuli, okay? So, for example, we have the tigmonasty, okay? This tigmonasty is the response of plants to touch. A plant like Mimosa pudica, the open nyash, closed nyash plant, exhibits this form or this type of movement, all right? Tigmonasty, all right? Where when you touch it, it closes its leaf, okay? It closes its leaf. That's a kind of protective mechanism to protect the plant, all right? We also have the slip movement, which is the nyctinasty, okay, which is common in some kind of plants, those nocturnal plants that fold their leaf at night, okay, nyctinasty. They fold their leaves at night. It is just a non-directional response. It's non-directional. There is no reference point. It's not that it is attracting something is attracting it. Nothing is attracting it. It just happens because it's night. All right. So the two non-directional movements here is the slip movement and the nastic movement. All right. But this slip movement is still under the nastic movement. So the nastic movement is the only non-directional movement. Yeah? Example is the tigmonasty, where plant responds to what? To touch. Now let's look at the supporting tissue in animals. All right. The supporting tissue in animals. Under the supporting tissue in animals, we have the exoskeleton and we also have the endoskeleton. The exoskeleton means, I told you anything exo means external. It is an external skeleton. It is an external skeleton and it includes sheathing in insects, which protects and supports them. The supporting tissue in animals protects and supports. All right, it protects and will support. So sheathing is made up of calcium carbonate and starch. All right, or carbohydrates. It protects and it supports insects. Or arthropods which have exoskeleton. All right. The next we have here, the second one is the endoskeleton. An endoskeleton is an internal skeleton, unlike the exoskeleton that is outside, that is outer coverage. This one is inside. It makes up the frame of the body, the framework of the body. Okay. It is further divided into hydroskeleton. Okay. Hydroskeleton is under endoskeleton. So you have the internal skeleton, which is the internal skeleton which consists of cartilage, which is flexible, bone, which is rigid and mineralized. When you say bone is mineralized, it means that bone contains minerals such as calcium and phosphorus. So the hydroskeleton consists of the fluid pump and the pathway. Okay, fluid pump and the pathway, pumping of fluid, enabling movement, like in earthworm, for example. That's where you have the hydroskeleton. Let's look at the types and functions of the skeleton. The exoskeleton provides protection, prevents water loss. So exoskeleton provides what? Supports, protects the arthropods and prevents water loss. Take note of that. Okay. The endoskeleton supports body, enables movement via joints, and it gives the body shape. The endoskeleton is a source of mineral storage too, and is a site for blood production. Okay. Red blood cells and white blood cells are formed in the marrow of the long bones. All right. For example, you have the hinge joints that enables movement. You have the ball and socket joints. Okay. You have different joints. You have saddle joints. The functions of the skeleton includes support, or the endoskeleton. The function of the endoskeleton includes support, locomotion, protection, respiration. Okay. How does the skeleton help in respiration and protection? I already explained locomotion. It helps us to move from one place to another, our bones and our joints. It supports our body. When we sit down, our skeleton, they support us. When we stand, they support us. It gives us posture. That is the essence of the support. How does it protect the body? How does it protect us? It protects our internal organ. Like here now, I have ribs. The bones of my ribs that protects my lungs, my heart, and so on. Okay. I also have the one in my pelvis that protects all my internal pelvic organs. All right. Such as my reproductive organ, my urinary bladder, a lot. You have the one that protects your brain, your skull that protects your brain, and so on. So it also helps us in respiration. The skeleton, the ribs, okay, the thoracic cage helps in respiration. It helps in the movement of the chest. All right. It helps in the movement of the chest and aids us in respiration. For example, see what we have here, the rib cage. It also stores mineral. You can see the skeleton, our endoskeleton stores mineral. Let's look at the types of skeleton. Skeleton is the framework of the body. That is the most ancient definition of the skeleton. Okay, we already talked about the function. Now we have to look at the classification of the skeleton, or the types of skeleton. The skeleton is of two types. You have the exoskeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Okay, for the exoskeleton, it consists of this straight line in the body. That is the exoskeleton here. Everything you have here is the exoskeleton. This straight line is the exoskeleton. So it consists of the skull, this place, the vertebral column, okay, this bone that runs through the base of your head down to your what? Your butt. The what? The vertebral column and the ribs and the sternum. That is the what? The exoskeleton. The skull or the cranium, the ear ossicle. You have that one inside the skull. Of course, it's part of it. Okay. Then you have the vertebral column, where you also have the hyoid bone. This one here is the hyoid bone. There's one bone you touch here. That's the hyoid bone. Okay, everything you have running straight here is the exoskeleton. Okay, and the ribs and the sternum. You have the sternum here. It's called the breastbone. Sternum. All right, that's what makes up the exoskeleton. While the appendicular skeleton is all other parts that are not part of the exoskeleton. That's the appendicular skeleton. You have the clavicle and the scapula that makes up the shoulder girdle. You have the humerus, the hand bones. You have the innominate bone, the pelvic bone. You have the longest bone in the body, the femur, and the bones of the leg. That's what makes up the appendicular. You where they watch me so. Now your skeleton be this. This is your skeleton. This is your what? Your skeleton. This is your skull. This is your rib. This is your pelvis. This is your skeleton. So if you understand this, you have understood your skeleton. All right? Explaining the skeleton. Okay? Describing the skeleton. We have the skull. This is the skull. All right? You have the eye socket. You have the space for the nostril and the mouth. The upper one here, this upper jaw here is called the maxilla. The lower one here is called the mandible. This one is the vertebral column. Runs down. I know that the vertebral column is divided into 4. You have the cervical vertebrae. Okay? Located at the neck. It's usually 7. Okay? Then you have the thoracic vertebrae, which is usually 12. Continues from the end of the cervical vertebrae at the base of the neck and gets to here, this point. Okay. Then you have the lumbar vertebrae. Okay, is about 5, and you have the sacral vertebrae, which is about how many? About 5 too. Then you have what is called the coccyx. Coccyx is also called the tailbone. If you touch on top your nyash inside, you are going to feel it. It's called the coccyx. Okay, you know, the human being almost gets tail. Okay, that coccyx is almost from our tail. So God can't decide, say, man, don't just give them tail. It's sharp like this. All right. The scapula and the clavicle forms the shoulder girdle. Okay, it forms the shoulder girdle. All right. This is the clavicle. It is also called what? The collar bone. Okay, this bone here. Okay, is the clavicle. Then this one here is the scapula. You can see where they label the scapula. It forms the what? Shoulder girdle. Okay. This one is the ribs. Okay. Okay, you have 12 ribs. All right, 12 lines of ribs that connects on the notch of the sternum. Okay, this one is the sternum, also called the breastbone. Connects with the notch of the sternum, and also the facet found where? In the what? The vertebral column or the vertebrae behind. Okay, so this bone here, this arm bone of the arm is called the humerus. Okay, you have 2 bone here at the lower portion of the arm, the lower part of the arm. This one here on the right hand side is called the radial. Okay, the radial bone. Okay, look at it here. It's called the radial bone. While this one that is closer to your body, this one located here, is called the ulna. Okay, ulna. Okay, here, this place, look at it here. This place here, which is here now, is called, you have some bones there, small round bones. They are called the carpals. Okay, while here, all the finger bones. Okay, you call this one the tarsa, the finger bones from here to here. From here to here, okay, from here to here, you call it the tarsa. From all the small bones you have inside here, this wrist is made up of small bones called carpals. While from here to here is called the metacarpals, okay. While all the bones here are called the phalanges. All these ones, they are called the phalanges. All right. So look, moving down the skeleton, you have this place. This place is called sacral bone. This one is the pelvic bone, and the pelvic bone is made up of 2 innominate bone. This one is the right innominate bone, and this one is the left innominate bone. This place is called the ischium, and it's together forms the innominate bone. This small bone you see behind here is located at your back. It's tailbone. It's called coccyx. If you put hand on top your nyash, you can touch it. It's called coccyx. All right. Then this one is the longest bone in the body. The bone of the thigh is called femur, and in the femur you have something, one round sesamoid bone there. It's called the sesamoid bone, called patella. So proceeding downwards, we have the fibula, which is on the right side, the away from the body. Okay, away from the body. You have the fibula, is smaller, away from the body. Okay, then the tibia is the bigger one that directly attaches to the femur. Okay, the epicondyle of the femur, it attached directly to the, you can say that the fibula doesn't attach directly to the femur. The fibula attaches to the tibia. All right, then we now proceed to get the part that is called, it's just like this arm bone. You still have another small bone there. That place you call your ankle. Okay, you have some small bone there called the tarsals. Okay, each of those bones has a name, but in this your level, forget about that. Okay, why all these small bones you have here, from here to here for your leg, you never reach where you get your toes, not your toes, from here to here for leg side, from here to here, is called the metatarsals. Okay, while your toes, your toe bones, all your toe bones are collectively called the phalanges. Okay, so this is your skeleton. I just described your skeleton to you. All right, so I know that you can label the skeleton now. You can draw and label the skeleton, even though your own is not as beautiful as this one we have here. You can draw your skeleton and label your skeleton. All right, but this, however, is your skeleton. So you already have your skeleton here. So you can draw this your skeleton and label your skeleton at home to get used to it, because Jamb always set questions from skeleton. The next time we come, we are going to look at the classification of synovial joints and their location. So now we are looking at the classes of synovial joints and their location. Okay, so first of all, we have to understand synovial joint. What is a synovial joint? A synovial joint is a joint that allows movement to some extent, and also the joint is more specialized. It contains synovial cavity, contains synovial membrane, contains synovial fluid, and it contains capsule, joint capsule, which is usually cartilaginous. Okay, so among the synovial joints, the common types of synovial joints include the hinge joint, which allows flexion and extension in one plane. When you say flexion, it allows you to bend and straight in one plane. So when you say one plane, this is one plane. This is one plane. You straight your hand, you bend your hand. You straight your hand, you bend your hand. That is one plane. All right. And where do you have these kinds of joints? These hinge joints. The joint mimics the hinge of a door. You know hinge of a door now. That hinge. Okay, the hinges of a door. So the way door they open. Now so this joint they open. The only direction that the door can move towards. That's the only direction that this joint can move towards. All right. So flexion is contraction of muscle. Extension is relaxation of muscle. All right. So where do we find this joint? It is found in the elbow, knee, finger/toes, which are the interphalangeal joints. Okay, and the temporomandibular joints, which you have here in the jaw here. Only two sides, up and down, one plane. You can't move it to this side, you can't move it to this side, except say you want to break the joint. All right. The next we have under the synovial joint is the ball and the socket joints. The ball and the socket joint enables multi-axial movements. Okay, you can move it in all directions, just like this one you have here, in your arm here, this place. Okay, you can move it in all directions, and it is located in the shoulder and the hip. Your hip joint there. That is a ball and socket joint. All right. The pivot joint is another one, and the pivot joint permits rotation around an axis. There must be something stationary for the pivot joint to work. One part will be stationary, then the other moves on it. Okay, like this. Okay, for example, the neck joints, the atlantoaxial joints, these joints you have here. So you can see that the neck is fixed, the another one moves on it. It also allows for rotation side by side. All right, it helps in turning the head. Can you see? There's a fixed axis here, is fixed. You don't move here, one just turn on top of it. Okay, and also you can find it in the forearm. Okay, the proximal radioulnar joints, that's here, this place. Okay, the proximal radioulnar joint, that's here. You can find it here in your arm here. All right, it's here. That's the joint you have here. All right, because you do here like this. When you move here like this between your radio and your ulnar. But just know that the neck, that's where you find the pivot joint. That's the most common example. The next is the gliding/plane joint. All right, it allows sliding in multiple directions. Okay, present in what? Intercarpal joints. These gliding joints allow sliding in multiple directions. Okay, it's present in the wrist, for example here. These intercarpal joints. Okay, and the tarsal joint of the ankle. This kind place for your ankle, so this kind place for your ankle, we get small bones we make up that your ankle, so for that place. All right, that place where your ankle join your feet. Okay, that is where you have this gliding joint. Okay, you also have it in the vertebral facets. That's where the vertebrae joins the spine, and you also have it in your shoulder girdle. That's this place, this joint here, sternoclavicular joint here. Here you have it here. All right, so we have the saddle joint. Okay, it's also a synovial joint. It's featured by axial movements. That's two-sided movements, mainly in the capometacarpal joint of the thumb. That's this place. The capometacarpal joint of the thumb. That's this place. Okay, this place. Two-sided movement. It can move towards this direction. Okay. The next joint is what? The condyloid, or it can be called ellipsoidal joint. It supports the biaxial gliding found in what? The radiocarpal joint. It's found in the wrist here. Okay, one slides over the other. Can you see? One is static, the other slides on it. You also have it on the knuckle here. Look at it. You have it here. That's the kind of joint you have here. All right. Now, this is the diagram containing all the joints and where they are easily found. Okay. For the hinge joint, it mimics the hinge of a door and it's found in the knee. This is the most common part, and the elbow, like a door hinge. Okay, like a door hinge. All right. Then the ball and the socket joints. Okay, the ball and the socket joint on the right hand, on the top right of the diagram, is the ball and the socket joints. It allows movement in all directions, all planes. All right. Example, where is it located? The hip joint, the shoulder joint, the lumbosacral joint. Okay, that's where you have the ball and socket joint. Then on the down left of the diagram, we have the gliding/plane joints, where one bone slides over the other. Okay, for example, the wrist, the ankle. That's where you have the gliding and the plane joints. You have the pivot joints, which allows rotation around a central axis. There must be a central fixed point. Okay, while another part of the joint rotates around it. All right. For example, it's found in the neck, forearm. This neck joint is called the atlantoaxial, while the forearm joint, okay, is called the radioulnar joints. All right, pivot joints. Okay, the forearm joints, that's here. This joint here. Okay, this joint here. The forearm joints. Okay, this joint here. This joint here. The joint between the radius and the ulna. Okay, joint between the radius and the ulna, around this place, around this junction here, this elbow junction. Not for the elbow, This joint between, you know, you have two bones here, radius and ulnar. That joint, the place they join together where they articulate. That's where you have it. We also have the saddle joints, like the saddle of a horse. That thing you put on top of a horse before you sit on top of a horse is the saddle. All right. It has a concave, convex surface. That's the surface is like this, like a concave, this kind of curve. You know, concave now, the curve of a concave, and a convex surface. Where do you have this? You have it in the thumb joint here. That's where you have the saddle joint. All right. You also have the condyloid / ellipsoidal joint, which is oval shaped. Okay, it's found in the knuckle and the wrist. All right. So the types of cartilage, just to secure your guard, I want to teach you the types of cartilage. They include the hyaline cartilage and the fibrocartilage. You have the hyaline cartilage; it makes up the rib. Okay, the fibrocartilage makes up some portion of some joints, some synovial joints, the joint capsule in some synovial joints. All right. So types of muscles. What are the types of muscles? You have the voluntary muscles, which is controlled. Okay, it moves bone around. All right, it is found around bone. Okay, the voluntary muscle, you control it. It moves bone. It is found around bones because we can control it. I can decide to raise my hand and drop my hand. Raise my hand and drop my hand, move my head up, move my head down. It is voluntary, we can control it. And we have this voluntary muscle, you can also call it skeletal muscle. Okay, while we have the number two is the involuntary muscle. It's a muscle we can't control. All right, and we have two types of muscle that we can't control. The cardiac muscle also fall under the involuntary muscle. The major types of muscle are the voluntary muscle and the involuntary muscle. The cardiac muscle falls under involuntary muscle because we can't control it. All right, the involuntary muscle include the muscle in the intestine and the cardiac muscle. Do you control the movement inside your intestine? If food inside your belly, they control the movement? No. Okay, they are smooth muscle. Okay, they are also called smooth muscle. The muscles in the intestine. All right. Then the cardiac muscle is part of the involuntary muscle. Okay, it's found in the heart. All right, it's found in the heart, and only the heart. That's where you can see the cardiac muscle. Only found in the heart. A muscle that never gets tired. A muscle that works throughout the lifespan of a person. So if you are to live 70 years on earth, your heart is going to work constantly for 70 years. Is God not wonderful? Yeah. Now that we have understood supportive system in both plants and animals, let's now take some Jamb must repeat question to test the knowledge we've acquired so far. If we are to go back and restudy, practice again to get better in this topic. Jamb must repeat questions. Question 166. Which of the following is a component of blood? A. Plasma. B. Red blood cell. C. White blood cell. D. Lymphocyte. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. You know book. Question 167. You sabi book. The movement of water from the roots to the leaf in plants is mainly due to what? A. Root pressure. B. Transpiration. C. Osmosis. D. Active transport. What's the answer? You know book. Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 168. In mammals, the pulmonary artery carries what? A. Oxygenated blood. B. Deoxygenated blood. C. Nutrients. D. Hormones. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Share you sabi book well. Question 169. Which of the following is an excretory product of plants? A. Urea. B. Ammonia. C. Tannins. D. Bile. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 170. The opening and closing of the stoma is controlled by what? A. Guard cell. B. Epidermis cell. C. Xylem vessel. D. Flowing tube. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Share you sabi biology. Question 171. Anaerobic respiration in yeast produces what? A. Ethanol and carbon 4 oxide. B. Lactic acid and carbon 2 oxide. C. Water and ATP. D. Glucose and oxygen. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 172. Which structure is responsible for excretion in insects? A. Kidney. B. Mammalian tube. C. Flame cell. D. Contractile vacuole. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Share you know biology well. See now. Question 173. Tropic movement in plants is best described as A. Response to touch. B. Growth towards light. C. Folding at night. D. Movement in water. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 174. The human skeleton performs all the following functions except what? A. Support. B. Protection. C. Respiration. D. Digestion. What's the answer? Share you sabi book. Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 175. Oh yeah now. In the mammalian circulatory system, the hepatic portal vein carries blood from dash. A. Heart to lungs. B. Intestine to liver. C. Kidney to bladder. D. Lungs to heart. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 176. Which of the following is a supportive tissue in plants? A. Parenchyma. B. Collenchyma. C. Epidermis. D. Meristem. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Meristem is involved. It's called apical meristem. It's involved in cell division in plants. So meristem propels or is the forerunner of cell division in plants. All right. Question 177. Gaseous exchange in plants occurs through what? A. Roots. B. Stomata. C. Flowers. D. Fruits. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 178. The product of aerobic respiration is what? A. Ethanol. B. Carbon 4 oxide and water. C. Lactic acid. D. Glucose. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 179. Which excretory organ removes carbon 4 oxide from the body? A. Kidney. B. Liver. C. Lungs. D. Skin. What's the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 180. Phototropism in plant is caused by what? A. Ozins. B. Gibberellin. C. Cytokinin. D. Ethylene. What's the answer? You know Bukabi. Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 181. The exoskeleton in insect is made up of what? A. Bones. B. Cartilage. C. Chitin. D. Collagen. What's the answer? You know book share? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 182. Osmosis is the movement of water molecule from what? A. Low to high concentration. B. High to low concentration. C. Equal concentration. D. Any direction. You know book share? Oh yeah, drop the answer in the comment section. Question 183. In respiration, ATP is produced in A. Glycolysis only. B. Krebs cycle. C. Both glycolysis and Krebs cycle. D. Fermentation only. What's the answer? You know it, right? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 184. You are a scholar, right? Oh yeah, now. The contractile vacuole is found in what? A. Earthworm. B. Protozoa. C. Insect. D. Mammals. What is the answer? Drop the answer in the comment section. Question 185. Which of the following allows movement in all directions? A. Hinge. B. Pivot. C. Ball and socket. D. Gliding. You know the answer, right? Hit the answer in that comment section. Jamb 2026 candidates. I can force you to pass Jamb UTME. I've been doing this for almost 5 years. Forcing candidates. At the end, you are going to be forced to score high in your Jamb UTME. Why not access my short, simplified lecture notes? And the lecture videos are all available to you free of charge. There's no time, oh. UTME is closer than you think. This Jamb UTME 2026 is close. I don't lie. If you are reading your textbook now, send a textbook you read now, then you prepare. I'm sorry to say to you, you are unwise. You know you're wise at all. How many textbooks you want to read before the 16th of April? Time not there again. Now what you need is shortcuts. So if you need this shortcut and plan, I have a plan for you that you are going to use to blast this Jamb within this short period of time. Even though you are a dime student, you never read since, I can still make a difference in this your Jamb score. Trust me, I promise you that. So all you need to do, if it's the plan you need, if it's my simplified short lesson notes you need, everything, I don't compress everything, okay? Your full syllabus, Jamb syllabus, I compress everything into just 350 small slides for each subject. Physics 350 small slide, chemistry 350 small slide, biology 350 small slide. All those are what you need. Only waiting Jamb to make you know. We don't do anywhere benefits. We don't come out for syllabus. One problem many Jamb tutors face is going outside syllabus. Syllabus, they prepare their candidates. They don't use syllabus prepare them. So that's one of the issues they face. That's why many of their candidates come out with poor outcomes. Okay, unlike my candidates, always flamboyant. My products, anywhere you see that, you go not say na my products they be. So enter the end, send me a DM. My phone number is written in my bio. You just go to my bio there. You are going to see my phone number in my profile there. You go see and boo. People go stick on that comment section. They ask, say, how can I get to contact you? How can I send DM? You don't see phone number for my profile. Send DM to the phone number within my profile. If you need plan for Jamb UTME, 9 minutes plan. You don't get time to read again. I am going to turn you to an exam monster. I am going to make you smart. I'm going to boost your examination IQ. I'm going to give you all you need. My plan will be joke. So if you need this simplified short lecture note, send me a message. If you need the plans also, send me a message. Now small money. Enter the Jamb 2026 candidate.